Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this afternoon's coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. This afternoon we have Colonial Conference action between the Collingswood Panthers and the Audubon Green Wave. I'm your play-by-play commentator for today's game, Dan Wilkins, with my producer Donna Wilkins and our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane. Collingswood is coming into this game in possibly their best standing in years on a 6-2 record, and they just locked up a bid for the Diamond Classic this May. And so did Haddon Heights, because they were tied with Audubon in the division lead for the Liberty Division. Remember, this year Collingswood got the boot from the Liberty Division and was bumped down to the Patriot Division with the rest of the Group 1 schools, including Paulsboro, or actually rather Paulsboro was switched from the Patriot to the Liberty, but they joined Gloucester, Gateway, and Haddon Township in that 4-team division. The only discrepancy is that when you look at their schedule, there has been a couple bumps in the road. However, that doesn't mean that Collingswood is not a respectful team and not a team worth the recognition that they were given in the Diamond Classic. So, with Audubon needing an at-large bid to make the Diamond Classic, now that Haddon Heights was the winner of the tiebreaker for the Liberty Division, Collingswood and Audubon is going into this game with a little bit of a chip on their shoulders. For the Green Wave, they're 7-1 and have had one of the best runs they've had to start a season in years, and so far they just knocked off Sterling 20-1 on Tuesday. If you didn't watch, yesterday was a DWB showcase between the Timber Creek Chargers and the Highland Tartans in Blackwood at Highland Regional High School, and today we have the Panthers and the Green Wave. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I've been pleased to announce on Twitter this morning that we are working with BFA Sports and Doug Stasic, that amazing crew down in Summers Point on Friday and down at Mainland High School on Sunday. I'll be on the play-by-play for Atlantic City and Bridgeton on Friday at 4 p.m. and I will be on the play-by-play for Audubon and Spotswood at 2 p.m. on Sunday. That tournament is going to be on the Game Changer app, so if you'd like to watch those games, make sure that you check out the Game Changer app for exclusive broadcasts of South Jersey baseball. I'll also be working in the production crew truck all day, except for that one game where I'll be on the call for the Green Wave and the Chargers. Speaking of the Chargers, the Green Wave have a nice weekend coming up along with a busy week next week. They play Timber Creek on Wednesday the 25th, and they play St. Augustine on Thursday the 26th, which that will be an interesting game to cover. But regardless, the Green Wave are taking the field now, so let's pan our attention out to the main field. Coming out is the starting pitcher for the Audubon Green Wave this afternoon, Ryan Zimmer, making his second start of the young campaign. He made his debut as a varsity pitcher back last week versus the Haddon Heights Garnets in what was an eventual 3-2 loss, but regardless was a valiant effort with 2 innings out in the pen, or rather 2 innings to start, and then the bullpen helped him out. But even though it was a 3-2 loss, still was a great showing by Ryan Zimmer. He'll be joined by Trent Bannell behind the plate. He's going to be catching this afternoon for as long as Zimmer is pitching, and then I would imagine they would switch roles and Bannell would go to the bench while Zimmer would retake the catching position. No Charlie Copsetta today in center field. He is out with a strained quad. His timetable for return is TBD, but Joey Slavin's at first base. At second is going to be Jack Dempsey. At short is Tyler Wiltsey, and at third is Gabe McCracken. In left field is Charlie Grady. Center field is Bryce Dempsey, and in right is Zach Beebe. Real quick, let's get the starting lineup in for the Collingswood Panthers. It's Chase Ladick at second base, Noah Waldron in center field, Nate Ifey at shortstop batting third. The Penn State Abington commit, Tim Search, is batting cleanup and batting fourth. Cole Ladick is the DH batting fifth. Pat Talley is the pitcher, but he will not bat. Miles DeVincentis is in right batting sixth. Andrew Shell is the third baseman batting seventh. Chance Schellenberger is the catcher batting eighth, and Brady Search is the left fielder batting ninth. We're underway with a ball low and away to Chase Ladick. Strike one. Down low, 2-1. There's a ground ball out to short. Throw by Wiltsey is in time, went away. 6-3 ground out by Ladick, and this will bring up Noah Waldron. Strike one. One and one. Both packs of fans getting set, bringing in their lawn chairs, just getting started here on this Thursday afternoon. That one's upstairs, 2-1. It'll be Ladick, Waldron, and Nate Ifey, the shortstop, batting for Collingswood in the top of the first, and 2-2. As we said, Collingswood going into this game 6-2. Their two losses are to Buna in an 8-5 score on April 7th. That was a Friday, and they are undefeated so far this year, still 9-0 for the Chiefs, as that's going to make it a full count. And then they lost 9-8 in a very tough divisional matchup to Gloucester, who was also 6-2. That was a 9-8 game on a walk-off in 8 innings, and there is a strike 3 called. Waldron is retired, and they'll toss the ball around the infield. Excuse me, Nick Caladros is at third base for the Green Wave, not Gabe McCracken, so apologies for that omission, but here's Nate Ifey. But they started the season off with close wins over Triton and Holy Cross Prep. There's a strike right down Broadway. Beat Haddon Township 12-1. They had the Roseboro tournament on the same weekend as the Ralph Shaw on April 15th. They beat Salem and Glassboro respectively, and then their last game was on Tuesday, the 18th, versus Gateway. They won that one 14-4. Quickly 0-2. Zimmer looking to retire the side in order, but that one misses away. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Nate Ifey. And he's going to waver and miss. Bandle's got to pick this one up with a throw to first. And it's over the head of Joey Slavin. Picked up by Jack Dempsey, and that'll be an E2 by Trent Bandle. Tough play there. I mean, he missed Joey Slavin, and Joey Slavin is not necessarily a short man. I mean, he's 6'3" down there at first base, and missed him by a decent margin. So that'll be an E2. And this will bring up Tim Search, the commit to Penn State Abington. I originally misread his commitment post, and I thought he was committed to the Penn State and State College. And I'm like, wow, how does Collingswood get themselves that incredible of a ball player? And I'm not saying that Penn State Abington is not a good school. I mean, they have a decent program, and any college baseball player that's playing at the high school level, I mean, you know, hey, the fact that you're playing baseball at the next level is a great thing. But those sub-campuses, they always throw me off because I'm like, wow, Penn State. And then I'm like, oh, Penn State Abington. Nothing wrong with that, though. That one's upstairs. 1-1. Bandle gets out of the crouch. One and one. Zimmer kicks and deals, and there's a swing and a miss. 1-2. Although for Search this year, the cleanup man for the Panthers, batting .552 with 3 homers. So real power stroke for the senior first baseman. Ifey had to dive back to the bag. That was a close play. Bandle was about to throw him out, but he's all good. .359 average last year, but 16 for 29, 6 doubles, and like as we said, 3 homers. But there's a swing and a miss. Zimmer strikes out 2 and leaves 1 aboard. We go to the bottom of the first. First 3 due up for the Green Wave, and we'll go. No score. Bottom of the first here at Hank Greenberg Field. Let's take a look at the starting nine for the Audubon Green Wave this afternoon after a scoreless first for Collingswood. Tyler Wiltsey is the shortstop batting leadoff. Joey Slavin is the first baseman batting second. This is the highest that he's batted. I wonder if they're going to get the music off. There we go. Now we can play baseball. Scott Lynch is the DH batting third. Trent Bennell will catch but will not bat. Ryan Zimmer is the pitcher batting fourth. Charlie Grady is the left fielder batting fifth. Jack Dempsey is the second baseman batting sixth. Bryce Dempsey is the center fielder batting seventh. Nick Caladros is the third baseman batting eighth. And Zach Beebe is the right fielder batting ninth. Pat Talley on the mound for the Collingswood Panthers this afternoon. Sporting the number 2 for the Panthers as the first pitch is down to Tyler Wiltsey. Pat Talley, the senior right-hander, 5.44 ERA in his senior campaign, had a nice 3.77 in 2022 with 23 strikeouts, but the baseball gods may not have swung in his favor this year. That one is outside, 3-0. Talley has surrendered 4 walks already this year, so could make it number 5. That's going to be a 4-pitch walk, so how about it? Tyler Wiltsey gets aboard without lifting the bat off his shoulders, and this will bring up Joey Slavin. Again, it'll be Wiltsey, Slavin, and Scott Lynch, the first 3 to hit for the Green Wave in the first. Charlie Copsetta will be sidelined for a little while with a strained quad, which obviously is never good, but you think strain and you think, well, it's just a strain, you just pulled something, but no, it's a lot more than that, and depending on the severity of it, he could be out for several weeks. So I think one thing that was a difference between last year's team and this year's team is that last year there wasn't really a whole lot of adversity with injuries, and not to say that you need to have an injured player, but you need to have at least somewhat of a backup plan if something were to happen. And obviously Bryce Dempsey being in center field, he's the guy that Haran is tapped to be put in that position in this, I wouldn't say time of crisis, but in this uncertain scenario with Copsetta. Here's a throw down, and that's going to airmail into center field, and Tyler Wiltsey is going to get all the way to third. And Collingswood's got to stop throwing the ball around because they almost got him a free run. So Tyler Wiltsey steals second base and gets third base on his own volition. So Wiltsey advances 2 bases on the E2, so now both catchers have an error to their name in the first inning. Here's a fly ball, hit shallow left. Oh, and a collision. And it's going to drop in fair territory. Joey Slavin's going to get the second base after I didn't hear a single word from the shortstop or the third baseman. And yeah, we're pretty far away, but you need to be yelling and yelling and yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it.
Okay.
They are both fine. They're going to walk away, but it's going to be runner on second in a 1-0 ball game. Well, I didn't see where the ball was going to land down the left field line, but 1-0 Green Wave. Here is Scott Lynch. Remember, the Green Wave had a 20-1 win over the Sterling Silver Knights on Tuesday. I think you were glad that you weren't there for that barn burner, but it was a long one, even for 5 innings' sake. It was still a long game for all intents and purposes.
Well, yeah, it's going to be when you score 20 runs.
It was Audubon's largest victory margin since April of 2019 when they defeated Paulsboro 29-2.
Wow.
They did not have any such victories in 2021 or 2022. But I think that a common misconception about high school baseball is that if you're not blowing out teams, you're not good. Well, it depends on the strength of schedule. It very obviously depends on the strength of schedule. If you have a weak schedule and you're blowing out teams left and right, it kind of creates this false facade where it looks like you're a really good team, but when you look beneath the surface, it really just shows that you're a decent team playing bad teams.
Right.
And I think that that's something that people need to remember when they're talking about these teams in the Group 1 divisions, that, like last year I said before, Audubon's problem was that they did not craft a strong schedule, and they were playing the bad teams and the barn burners, and they didn't have a lot of out-of-conference games except for the ones that, were in Myrtle Beach, and that was out of state, and, maybe those were good, but Scott Lynch draws a walk, and this is going to bring up Ryan Zimmer, the catcher. So still nobody out for Pat Talley as the Green Wave look to grab another couple of runs off of the senior right-hander. 2 on, nobody out. Runners on first and second. As here is Zimmer, and the first pitch will be away, 1-0. So Wiltsey walked and then got all the way to third on an error and then scored on the RBI double by Joey Slavin. And then Lynch also walked. One ball, no strikes. That one is away. It's a hot one. All the track and field folks have decided to skip the shirts today. 3-0. I guess it's just track practice and not a meet, because nobody's in their attire. I don't know what you call that. Like in wrestling, it's a singlet, and in baseball and football, it's a jersey. But I'm not sure. There's a strike on a compensation call, 3-1.
I'm trying not to pay too much attention because they're in full sun.
Right.
And I'm in the shade and I'm trying to stay cool, so I don't want to look at them.
Right.
It's got to be hot in the sun.
It is, and some of them are wearing all black.
Yeah.
I mean, Cinnaminson, when Audubon played Cinnaminson over the Ralph Shaw tournament, they were wearing all black, and I felt bad because that was a real scorcher of a day.
Yeah.
The worst one, though, was Heights in Audubon. You weren't there for that one. Matt Wagner was producing that game. It was 86 degrees at first pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and the payoff from Pat Talley is a swing and a miss. He sets down number 1, and this is going to bring up Charlie Grady. I did not think Talley was going to strike out Zimmer, but alas he did. Zimmer was batting .565 going into today's game. Had a huge hot start to his junior campaign. And the first pitch to Charlie Grady is upstairs, 1-0. .1-0 pitch. And really, there's no wind, so it doesn't help the case.
No, there's not much of a breeze at all.
2 balls, no strikes. Excuse me. The 2-0 was a swing and a miss, and it's 2-1.
Weather Channel says it's 76.
Yeah, it feels a little bit hotter than 76, but I think because there's 0 clouds, and
Full sun.
maybe the only clouds I see are like in small spurts, but that's really it. There's nothing around here. Clear skies. A foul ball back to the screen, and it's 2-2. Jack Dempsey will be on deck for the Green Wave after this.
Wind is registering only at 4 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's really nothing, honestly.
Yeah, nothing.
Two and two to Charlie Grady. 2 on, 1 away after the strikeout by Zimmer from Pat Talley. And he's got another. Grady keeps the bat glued to his shoulders, and there's 2 away for Jack Dempsey. Panthers trail 1-0. Tyler Wiltsey scored early after an RBI double after maybe a bit of miscommunication from the Panthers infield. But it seems like they've rebounded with back-to-back strikeouts to Zimmer and Grady, and there's a waiver and a miss. There is a strike called, 0-2. If this inning were to continue, his twin brother Bryce would be next. Oh, and 2. Pat Talley looking to strike out 3 in a row, and he does not yet at least. 1-2. Joey Slavin on second, Scott Lynch on first. 1-0 Green Wave. And that's where it will stand going into the second. Pat Talley retires 3 in a row via the strikeout, 2 of them looking. We go to the top of the second. Cole Ladick will lead it off for the Collingswood Panthers. 1-0 Audubon. Welcome back to the top of the second here from Audubon and the Hank Greenberg Field. It's 1-0 Green Wave after Joey Slavin. Oh, here we go. Fly ball deep left center field. And that ball is going to bounce a couple times off the Whitmayer Plumbing sign. And a first pitch double, Cole Ladick. So Ladick rips the cover off the ball and lines it in the left center field, and Collingswood has a runner on second to start the second inning. That was a bullet out in left center field. I thought that had a chance to go based off the crowd reaction. I thought that we could have had a long ball, but alas, we did not, and Collingswood's got a runner in scoring position just like that. There's Miles DeVincentis going down to third. Is going to be Ladick, and he is safe. So close play down at third, but Collingswood threatens ever closer, and it is 1-0 to DeVincentis. It'll be Ladick who's on third base, followed by Miles DeVincentis, Andrew Schell, and then Chance Schellenberger. Up high. 2-0. There's a strike a little bit inside, but it's 2-1. Three and one. Inside, and runners will be on the corners after the walk by DeVincentis. And here is Andrew Schell. So now Wade Geis will go to talk to his man Zimmer. Here we go, runners on first and third as Collingswood is threatening to score. You're watching coverage as the first pitch is swing and a miss. You're watching coverage of Audubon Green Wave Baseball here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. If you have any questions or comments about today's broadcast, drop me a line at Dan, D-A-N, Wilkins, W-I-L-K-I-N-S, show, S-H-O-W, at gmail.com. And that will be a free base for DeVincentis. And again, Collingswood, with both runners in scoring position, really putting Ryan Zimmer in a jam. His back is against the wall. The question is, can he break free? That's away. 1-1. So Andrew Schell, the number 7 hitter for Collingswood, followed by Chance Schellenberger, and there is a ball, 2-1. Here's a fly ball. That's going to bring in 1 run to score. Charlie Grady's throwing it home, and it'll be cut off. And Collingswood drives in 2 runs on an RBI single by Andrew Schell. Both Cole Ladick and DeVincentis score, and it's 2-1 Panthers over the Green Wave. So Zimmer in a bit of trouble here, but the bottom of the order doing the heavy lifting for Collingswood this afternoon with a runner on first and nobody out, as the first 3 have reached base for Collingswood, and that one's going to go straight to the backstop. Bannell rebounds, throw to second is not in time. That was a great rebound by Trent Bannell to be able to, field that ball off the padded wall behind home plate, but just the throw a little bit too late. So Schell now on second base, and here is Chance Schellenberger. Whoa. It's 1-1. Thank you. I guess this is a good way to beat the heat.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Somebody from the family brought us a milkshake from Philly Pretzel Factory. Oh, we got you one too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's 3-1, and Zimmer is going to have to beat the heat and beat the batters, as it's going to be another walk. 4 straight have reached for Collingswood, and this is going to bring up Brady Search. Runners on first and second. Brady Search, the sophomore, 0 for 4 this season, only had 5 at-bats last year. Search on the mound has 9 innings total with a 2.33 ERA in his, again, sophomore campaign. There's a strike, 0-1. Chase Ladick would be next for Collingswood, bringing us back to the top of the order for the Panthers in the navy blue and gold as they lead 2-1 here in the second. There's a strike. 0-2. Zimmer's getting back in the groove. No out still. The first 4 batters for Collingswood have reached base. There's a strike. Right down Broadway, and Search goes down without a contest, and that will be the 3rd strikeout for Zimmer. And here's Chase Ladick, grounded out to the shortstop Wiltsey in his first at bat. That'll go to the backstop. And going to third will be Schell, but Chance Schellenberger thinks better of it and stays at first base. So here we go, runners on the corners for the Panthers. They already lead by 1. They're looking to get a couple insurance runs here in the second. as the leadoff man for the Panthers, batting for the second time in this one. And it is 1-1. A lot of hustle and bustle this afternoon from Hank Greenberg Field and its surrounding areas. We have our track and field practices going on. They're bringing out the hurdles out on the track. Excuse me. Oh boy. 1-2. Throw back to first. Just a quick clarification, Audubon will be playing Timber Creek on the 26th, which is Wednesday. I made an error in my speech about the dates, but here's a pop-up. It's more than a pop-up. It's deep center field. Bryce Dempsey is there. He's going to make the catch, tagging from third is Shell. He's going to come to the plate and will score uncontested. It's 3-1. So the only runner that stands is Chance Schellenberger on first. And here is Noah Waldron. Waldron struck out looking his first time, but he bats for the second time in as many innings. Collingswood has scored 3 in the top of the second inning. The first 3 for the Green Wave in the bottom half of the second will be Bryce Dempsey, Nick Caladros, and Zach Beebe, 7, 8, and 9 in the order. There's a strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
I like this umpire. We can hear the strike all the way out in center field.
Not everybody, not every official, you can hear it that clearly with such clarity. And time is called, so I think time was called by the batter.
Before the pitch?
Yeah, so it wouldn't count.
Okay.
You see sometimes, especially with guys that throw very hard, like Ken Giles or Craig Kimbrell. I think I saw it earlier this year with Kimbrell in a Phillies uniform, but a lot of times, especially at the pro level, when the batter calls time right at the very end of his window before he can, while he can still back out of it, the pitcher will usually still follow through on the delivery, and he'll still throw the ball. Now, it may be completely wild, and his release point may be off by a country mile, but he'll still throw the ball so that he avoids the risk of maybe, stumbling or blowing, some sort of ligament in his, in a muscle, whatever, just so that for all intents and purposes, he's able to still follow through on his delivery even if the pitch won't count. Scott Lynch is warming up in the pen for the Green Wave after just 1 2/3 innings for Ryan Zimmer. I think mostly this year Zimmer will probably be used as an opener. I would imagine that because he's pretty new as a varsity pitcher, I wouldn't foresee him taking on such a hefty workload this early on in his journey on the bump. So that is to be seen, though. Here's a line drive into center field. There's a base hit. It's going to plateau and fall on the grass in front of Dempsey, scoring another run for... Nope. Runners on first and second with 2 down. Sorry, I forgot there wasn't a runner on third. That was cleared via the sac fly. But still 3-1 Collingswood after another single, and I would imagine that Zimmer's window himself, that is closing very quickly, as Nate Ify, who reached on a dropped third strike, is now up. Ball 1. Eighth batter of the inning. Waldron was the 7th, and Ify is the 8th batter to come to the plate for Collingswood. There's a strike. 1-1. So Chance Schellenberger on second base, Noah Waldron on first. And here's a ground ball foul down the third base line towards Caladros. 1-2. High and away by a hair. 2-2. Again, 7, 8, and 9 due up for the Green Wave in the bottom half of the second inning. Collingswood leads 3-1 here for the Hank Greenberg Field over the Audubon Green Wave. And here's a hot shot, chopper to third, throw across the diamond, is going to be in time, and the side is retired. But Collingswood plates 3, brings 8 men up to the plate. We go to the bottom of the second, 3-1, Collingswood. Here in the bottom of the second, Collingswood leads 3-1. Pat Talley will be facing Nick Caladros to lead off Bryce Dempsey to lead off the bottom of the second inning. This broadcast is brought to you in part by DJK Roofing, South Jersey's #1 roofing supplier with over 200 5-star reviews on the web. Get a free quote today by calling Carmine Rampolla at 856-778-3900. Again, that's 856-778-3900. 1-0 to Bryce Dempsey, the center fielder, as here's a ground ball. Hot chopper to short, thrown across the diamond by Ify, is going to be in time, 1 away. Here's Nick Caladros. Collingswood brought 8 men to the plate in the top of the second, scored 3. All started by a leadoff double by Cole Ladick. And it all kind of barrel rolled from there, but number 8 man in the order for the Green Wave is the class of 2025, Caladros. There's a ball, 1-0. Dempsey, Caladros, and the senior Zach Beebe, who did not play versus Sterling on Tuesday due to an illness. But of course now Charlie Copsetta, with him being out with the strained quad, that definitely is going to throw a wrench into the Green Wave's plans, at least for now. I mean, he's got to talk to some folks and see how bad it is. But you know, obviously Bryce Dempsey has kind of been thrown into the fire pretty early. There's a foul ball down the right side, and it's 1-2. Again, Audubon off to a 7-1 start. Their best since 2019, when they started 8-0 before losing 6 of their next 7. So let's hope and pray that that doesn't reoccur this year. That one is away, 2-2. For Caladros this year, batting 143, 2 for 14 with 1 double, 3 walks, 2 hit by pitches. On the mound, though, a 0.79 ERA in 17 2/3 innings. The baseline for DWB Analytics to qualify for the league lead in innings pitched is you have to have pitched at least 1 inning for every game played. That doesn't mean you have to have appeared in every game, but go back to last year. In the Colonial Conference, on average, between the 10 teams that played a full season, and here's a ground ball to third, throw to first, and another 5-3 ground out. Makes it 2 away for BB. But my baseline was that you took the average number of games played by competitive Colonial Conference teams, so that doesn't include Lindenwold and Woodbury because they did not compete in a full season. But the baseline number was 24.1 because I took all of the games played. So, for example, Audubon played 28 games last year, and like teams like Haddon Township, they were 8-13, so they were only like at 21 or something like that. So not that many. But the point still stands that some teams played less games, some teams played more games, and the baseline was 24.1. So the logic was that, whoa, the umbrella just took the camera for a ride. Oh my gosh. The thing almost went flying. I gotta keep a hold on this thing. The 1-1. Here's a ground ball out to second. And that throw will be in time. Collingswood sets down the bottom of the order. 1, 2, 3. We're going to make sure this umbrella doesn't send our $850 camera flying away like Mary Poppins. We go to the third. 3-1 Collingswood. Here in the top of the third, we have ourselves a Parolee's printing pitching change after 2 innings from Ryan Zimmer. Scott Lynch is the new pitcher for the Green Wave here in the third. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Parolee's Printing and Bantel's Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. Over 50 years in business, handling any ink-on-paper project as well as banners, signs, apparel, and promotional swag. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Scott Lynch coming on in relief here for Zimmer in a game that I did not think was going to swing this way, but Trent Bantle now back in the dugout for the Green Wave after catching for 2 innings, and Zimmer's back behind the plate. It's 1-1. We welcome you to the broadcast. If you're just joining us, the Panthers lead the Green Wave 3-1. As Tim Search, who struck out to end the first, is now the only man who did not bat in the second inning. 8 men came to the plate in the second for Collingswood. And again, 3 came around to score. One and two. And that'll set him down on strikes. First strikeout for Lynch. And here is Cole Ladick. Lynch to Ladick, or rather Chase Ladick as the leadoff man. Cole Ladick is the DH, and that's the man that's at the plate. So brothers are always confusing to remember, especially with the same last name and the same first initial with the C and Chase and Cole. And that's already 0-2. Lynch to Cole Ladick. Foul off towards the right side. Miles DeVincentis on deck for the Panthers. Oh, a nasty curveball. That's a good morning, good afternoon, and good night. There is 2 away. Second strikeout consecutively for Lynch, and here is DeVincentis. I think track practice is already done.
I think so.
They got done real early. I mean, I don't know if that's par for the course, but...
I don't know, but I would imagine you can't stay out there too long running in the heat.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, like, winter track, my main workout spot used to be at the Audubon High School gym. As there's a strike. 1-1. But it used to be there, so you got to look out straight onto the track, and during the winter track season, you would always see people there that were running outside in a t-shirt and shorts in the winter.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of insane monster works out outside in the freezing temperatures with a t-shirt and shorts on?
Well, they're probably not cold because
they're running.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess not. But it's 3-1 to DeVincentis, and that one is flown out to center field. And that will fall for a base hit, and Dempsey had a little bit of trouble with it, but picks it up. Audubon just not really having a grasp on things today, as Collingswood has kind of walked all over him for the first 3 innings. And it is a runner on first, DeVincentis. He's reached base twice in as many times as he's come up to the plate, and here is Andrew Shell. He'll be looking to shell a ball after a single in the second. That one got way away from Zimmer, and it's 1-0. That was bad. Just didn't really have a handle on it. Remember, Green Wave play the Spotswood Chargers on Sunday in the Coaches vs. Cancer event in Mainland, down in Linwood near Atlantic City. There's a swing and a miss. I'll be there on Friday covering Atlantic City and Bridgeton, and then that'll be in Summers Point. And then on Sunday, I'll be in the production crew truck all day, except for Audubon and Spotswood, when I will be calling the play-by-play for that game. So big thanks to Doug Stasic of BFA Sports for putting me up there and giving me the opportunity. But we'll be right back at it on Saturday, the 22nd, with the Joe Lang Classic in Pittman. First game will be at 11:30 in Alcyon Park versus the Gateway Gators and the Pittman Panthers. And then the second game will be the championship at 1:30 with the Gloucester City Lions and the Glassboro Bulldogs being the second game that will be going on at 11:30. The winner of those 2 games will meet at 1:30, again at Alcyon Park. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lynch trying to get out of it, and he does. He strikes out 3, all swinging, and we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Green Wave will have to get swinging here shortly. It's 3-1, Collingswood. Okay. All right, bring me back. Oh. Sorry. All right, bottom of the 3rd. Can't get it right every time, folks. Collingswood got a runner on first, but left them there, as Pat Talley will be out for a third inning of work here in Hank Greenberg Field in Audubon. It'll be back to the top of the order with Tyler Wiltsey, and a 2-run deficit for the Green Wave. 1, 2, and 3 batting for the Green Wave in the bottom of the third. Whoa, it was inside. Watch out there. Two-0. Sorry, maybe 3-0. Not gonna matter. Here's a fly ball deep left center field. Back goes Waldron. Oh, what a catch, Noah Waldron!
That was amazing.
Over the shoulder, an acrobatic play. Noah Waldron retiring Tyler Wiltsey, and there's one away. Noah Waldron, at our expense, gets the first out of the inning for Joey Slavin. Wow.
What a play.
Whether you're for him or against him, you cannot deny good baseball when you see it. Here's Joey. First pitch from Talley is a waiver and a miss. I don't know if he swung at that one. No, it was a hit by pitch. Excuse me. It looked like he had swung at it, but I wasn't exactly sure. But he'll go down to first base on a hit by pitch. And here's Scott Lynch. So 3-1 Collingswood in the bottom of the third. Lynch will bat now after walking in the first. He is now the pitcher. That one is away, 1-0. Yeah, Audubon Spotswood on Sunday. That'll be a fun one. Now, people would think for a school like Spotswood that's all the way up near New Brunswick, you would think, well, that has to be the first time that Audubon played Spotswood, right? Incorrect. Audubon played Spotswood back in 2010 when they were in the playoffs. Spotswood was actually classified as a South Jersey Group 1 school, and they were the playoff match for the final in 2010, and Audubon won against them, but they lost later on in the semifinals for the Group 1 playoffs to West Essex. There's a strike. Audubon won South Jersey Group 1 titles in 2010, 2011, and 2012. The latter 2 years were when they won the state titles overall over Waldwick and Pompton Lakes, respectively. And the 1-1. Here's a line shot. Hit to left. And foul by about a country mile. It's 1-2. Ryan Zimmer next for the Green Wave. And a waiver and a miss. Pat Talley with another strikeout.
Tally's up another one.
Yeah, that's a good pun.
I'm sure he's never heard that before.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we come up with creative puns over here, in my personal opinion. 2 down. Talley with 4 Ks on the afternoon, as Zimmer will try to avoid being the 5th. He was the first out of the first inning, which started back-to-back-to-back strikeouts for Pat Talley. And that one misses away, 1-0. One ball, no strikes. Ground ball out towards Ify. He's got it, and the throw to second is in time. And the Green Wave are left stranded again. We go to the 4th, 3-1 Panthers. Back in the top of the fourth, it's time for DWB Trivia Time as Collingswood leads Audubon 3-1. The question today is, what was the year of the first ever World Series? Was it A, 1885, B, 1927, C, 1869, or D, 1903? The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the fourth inning. Here's a fly ball, ground ball in the center field, a base hit. And getting aboard is going to be Mr. Schellenberger, Chance Schellenberger. And Scott Lynch already conceding a runner on first to lead off the fourth. And the Green Wave have been in trouble all day ever since giving up 3 in the second. I mean, it's really a tough pill to swallow, but if they can pull themselves out of it, then, you know, maybe it'll be a bit better, but still. Collingswood has always been a team to play Audubon at their hardest. I mean, I know you always want to play every team at their hardest, but they've always been pretty good versus Audubon. Audubon played Collingswood on senior day, and they won 10-0 in 5 innings, but I think that was more of a fluke, if anything. Early on in the season, Audubon was at Knight Park in 2022 to play Collingswood, and they won 14-12. I think you remember that game pretty well. Audubon was up 14-2 in the 5th inning. Looked like they were going to have an easy mercy rule, and then Audubon almost blew a 12-run lead, and that's how that game ended.
A lot closer than it should have been.
Yeah, a lot closer than it should have been, but they were still working some things out. And
well, this one ain't over yet. We're only in the 4th inning.
And it's only a 2-run game. Brady Search is at the dish, and it's a 0-1 count. They've thrown back to first multiple times to try to pick off Schellenberger, who is 1 for 1 after walking in the 2nd inning. He's going to show bunt, and he's going to pull back. 1-1. It'll be Search, Brady Search, and then Chase Ladick and Noah Waldron, who made a spectacular catch in center field in the bottom of the 3rd. There's a strike. 1-2. That one's a ball, 2-2. Swing and miss. Lynch with a strikeout, his 4th of the afternoon, and there's one away for Chase Ladick. Birds chirping. Beautiful day. Spring has sprung here in Jersey. The leaves are sprouting again on the trees. I just know during the winter inter squads it was very depressing looking at all those trees without any leaves on them, but now they look so much fuller.
Let the sneezing begin.
Oh yeah. Throw back to first again. Nothing doing there.
I think it's pretty too, but they cause me a lot of trouble.
They cause me a lot of trouble too. Although we haven't had a lot of sneezing problems on broadcasts, so.
Knock on plastic table.
Yeah, knock on plastic table. It's 1-0. That one's low and away. 2-0. Here's a fly ball rocketed to right. BB is going to make the catch, but now they got to throw back to first. It is not in time by a hair. He's back in there. That was very close to being a double play, but instead there's 2 down. That would have been real nice if they were able to pick off that Collingswood runner at first, but It seemed like Collingswood was off to a rough start to start the day, and then they seem to have gotten back into a rhythm later on. That one's a ball.
I think if we can get out of this inning without letting them score, that we can start our comeback at the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, and you got to start somewhere with those kind of situations, because when you look at the Kingsway game from last Sunday when they were down 6-0 in the fourth, that was really a huge blow to Audubon, because it almost looked like they were dead in the water and there was really no chance, and it was just salvage for the best outcome that you can have. But then that comeback put a whole lot of fuel in their tank, and now they've been coasting from here. So it really is a weird situation when you're down, because when a team is used to being a powerhouse and used to being so good at what they do, it almost feels like when you're down, like it's almost a disservice or an anomaly. But this is not an anomaly. This is most certainly not an anomaly. It is just something that you have to deal with as a baseball team, and down by 2 runs is by no means an insurmountable comeback. That one gets away. 3-2 to Noah Waldron. Three and two. Runners going. Here's a pop-up. Back behind the plate. Zimmer's looking for it, and that one's going to go into the stands. Oh, man. Well, one of the baseball moms has got to bring their glove. And now there's a huge commotion in the grandstands because nobody knows how to catch a baseball straight up in the air. Bring your gloves, folks. Bring your gloves. Whether it's a $20 glove at Walmart or an A2000, you got to be ready to catch your kid's baseball. Still the 3-2. That's ball 4, and that's going to skip out of the glove of Zimmer. So now going down to second will be Ladick. Although rather that is Ryan Shell, who is pinch running for Ladick. Schellenberger. Schellenberger is being pinch ran for by Ryan Shell, considering he is the catcher, and there's 2 down. So 2 on, 2 outs. Runners on first and second for Collingswood as they look to threaten again with Nate Ifey.
Some moms catch baseballs. Our story, I had to catch a bat from flying in your face.
Several times, actually. Yeah. That was quite an interesting one. I think the first one I remember is back in the Camden River Sharks.
Exactly.
Because just a couple of years ago, there really wasn't adequate fencing to protect the fans from flying baseballs or bats. So I think it was a player, I think it was on the River Sharks. He just kind of let go of his bat, lost a grip on it, and it went right behind us. It almost, grazed our scalps a little bit. And that one's upstairs. It's going to be 2-1. And then it happened again when we were in Reading.
Yeah.
With the Fightin' Phils. I think it happened twice.
Yeah, the same player did it twice.
Same player did it twice.
But you got a practice bat out of it.
And do you know who that player was in the Reading Fightin' Phils?
No.
Derek Hall.
No way.
Yes, who is now on the Phillies.
That's
and is hitting
really cool.
And is hitting home runs with a complete bat.
Well, we will forgive him for tossing his bat at us.
Yes. It's 3-1. Here's a ground ball out to Wiltsey on a hop. Flip to second is in time, and the side is retired. The Panthers leave 2 on, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. 3-1 ball game. Bottom of the fourth inning, Charlie Grady is hitting for the Audubon Green Wave. It's time for DWB Trivia Time. Today's question is, what was the year of the first ever World Series? Was it A, 1885, B, 1927, C, 1869, or D, 1903? Your guess is?
1927.
All right, well, let's reveal the answer. And it is D. 1903 was the first year of the first World Series, and the winner was not the Red Sox, but the Boston Americans over the Pittsburgh Pirates. We'll go back to the main board here as for the bottom of the fourth, Charlie Grady sends the first pitch rocket to right center, a base hit. It'll fall in front of Noah Waldron, and a single for Charlie. This will bring up Jack Dempsey now.
Maybe we should do more trivia. We get hits out of it.
Yeah, there you go. So Charlie Grady with a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Jack Dempsey. They're going to bunt. Here goes the ground ball to the pitcher, and the throw to first is in time. So it's a successful sacrifice. And Dempsey is retired, one away for Bryce Dempsey, the center fielder. And that's been something that the Green Wave have been working on for a while, considering that bad bunt defense was the reason why they were knocked out of the playoffs early in the first place. So now that you have a decent way to bunt and, kind of respond to other teams bunting against you in robust amounts, now you kind of have to, face the music a little bit. So they've been working on that. They've been getting better and better by the day at being able to defend on the bunt and bunting a lot more. Here's a pop-up out to shallow right. Who's got it? It is DeVincentis. He makes the catch. 2 outs. And this will bring up Nick Caladros.
Yeah, they've definitely been more successful with the bunt this year than last year.
I think, last year Audubon was just trying to swing for the fences a little too much for their own good, and, maybe trying to have a little bit too much swagger for a high school team, and it just didn't really play out in their favor. So
sometimes you got to play the fundamentals.
Yeah, and people don't like to admit it, but it's that's just kind of how it is. Time is called at the plate. If this inning were to continue, Zach Beebe would be next for the Green Wave. There's a swing and a foul on the first pitch, and it's 0-1 to Caladros. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game, grounded out to the third baseman his first time.
Let's go, Pat.
Strike. 0-2. That'll be a foul back to the screen. And it'll land right in front of it. Still 0-2 to Caladros. That's up and in, 1-2.
Pat, all you, let's go.
1-2. Upstairs. You just wished for the wrong team to get out. I think you forgot which team was batting.
I've had a long day.
She was like praying, and I was like, what are you talking about? And she said, one more strike. I'm like, you realize we're batting, right?
Yeah, I thought we were pitching. I've had a tiring day.
Oh, boy, haven't we all?
Getting older, I can't help it.
Well, that slider ain't getting much older anymore. That's going to be another strikeout for Pat Talley. We go to the fifth, 3-1, Collingswood over the Green Wave. Top of the fifth, Collingswood leads by 2 over the Green Wave. It's been an interesting ball game, but the end result still unknown at this time as Scott Lynch looks to eat some innings and get Collingswood in an uncomfortable position on the offensive side of the ball. He is due up if one batter reaches on base for the Green Wave, as it'll be 9-1-2 due up for Audubon in the bottom half. But this has been a quickly moving game, so we'll have to see how the pace changes in the final innings. 2-0. As here's a ground ball in the left, a base hit. Charlie picks it up. And a leadoff single by Tim Search puts a runner on for the Panthers. This will bring up Cole Ladick. Collingswood with 6 hits today. Green Wave, on the other hand, have 1, 2. That's it. 1 run on 2 hits. Meanwhile, Collingswood has 3 runs on 6 hits. Whoa, nice sliding play. Jack Dempsey throwback to first is a double play.
That couldn't have come at a better time.
And they almost had one in the last inning, but this time it's just a little bit sweeter with a 4-3 double play on the liner caught by Jack Dempsey, and there's 2 down. 4 Miles DeVincentis. Oh, 1. There's a strike. Oh, and 2. 2 down. Upstairs, 1 and 2. There's the ball, 2 and 2. Or rather, no, 3 and 2, so full count. Upstairs, ball 4. So a walk to DeVincentis, and here's Andrew Shell. Oh, there's an.
There's not much wind today, but when it's here, oh boy.
Oh man, yeah, it just knocked down. Again now. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that, folks. The wind took out our setup for a second as there's a foul ball, 2-1. Two and one. Here's a ground ball that will trickle into center field, a base hit. Again, Umbrella got down. Sorry about that, folks. That's 8 hits for Collingswood this afternoon, and they now have runners on first and second again.
With 2 outs.
With 2 down. That's upstairs. 1-0. Foul, 1-1. 2 outs and 2 on for the Panthers after the single by Shell. Collingswood has reached base in every inning so far, but they brought 8 to the plate in the second, and this is their 5th batter of inning number 5. That one misses. 2-1. Here's a pop-up, shallow right field, down the line, Slavin can't get there, and it's a foul ball. Laid out all his chips on the table, but came up empty-handed. So, it'll be 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on in a 2-run game in the top of the 5th. And the pitch is a pop-up, and that's going to be a base hit. Grady boots it. Dempsey picks it up. 1 run will score. Here comes Shell, and it is 5-1. The ball gets away. Going to third will be Schellenberger, and Collingswood has jumped out to a 5-1 lead on an atrocious defensive play in left field. And here is Brady's search. So that'll be a single E7 that allows him to get all the way to third, scoring Shell and DeVincentis. And now this will bring up Brady's search. So now with a runner on third and 2 down, in a 5-1 ball game, Scott Lynch even in more trouble. And that's a fly ball out to deep right. Beebe going back, and he makes the catch, and the inning is over. Collingswood puts up 2 more on an error in left by Charlie Grady. We go to the bottom of the 5th, 5-1 Panthers. In the bottom of the fifth, Collingswood leads over the Green Wave 5-1. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Doug Does Anything, your local handyman. If you need anything done, no matter how big or small, give Doug Does Anything a call at 856-412-0118. Here in the bottom of the fifth, and my goodness, has this been a weird game. 5-1. Collingswood leads Audubon. It just seems like this team is a shell of what it was on Tuesday and a shell of what it was over the Ralph Shaw Classic. And for the team that beat Kingsway, they are now curled up in a ball versus a team that is in the other side of the division and a much smaller school. But a fly ball to right on the first pitch, hit shallow. DeVincentis is there, one away. Nice job by the first base umpire to make his way out in the right field and make sure he makes that catch. I mean, you see a lot of umpires just stay stagnant on the field and don't really move. It seems like this umpiring crew has been willing to move around and get a little bit flexible with it so that they can make the right call. So that is a step in the right direction, to say the least. Here's Tyler Wiltsey. Wiltsey takes a strike, 1-1. There's just some games where you can't really piece it all together, and it seems like that Audubon, unless they can prove me wrong, this hasn't really been their night. They scored one in the first, and this looked like it could be a chance to be like another mercy rule game, but I was very obviously wrong. That one is outside. Two-1. Pat Talley working real nice tonight. 5 strikeouts. And only 1 run allowed. And again, that wasn't even an earned run because of the error on Tyler Wiltsey or on the catcher Schellenberger. It's 3-1 count to the leadoff man Tyler Wiltsey. Get a hold of one time. He does not. And it's 12-4. Leadoff walk. So after the fly out to right by Beebe, this is going to bring up Joey Slavin. Runner on first, 1 down for the Green Wave as the top of the order is still getting settled in here. Slavin, 1 for 1 at a double in the first and then a hit by pitch in the third. There's a strike. 0-1. Runner's going. Throw down to second base. Tyler Wiltsey is safe. Stolen base. That's a ball. 2-1 to Joey. In the dirt. 3-1.
See if they can get something started here.
Yeah, I mean, that would be real nice. I mean, if Audubon could make up the 6-run deficit versus Kingsway, it's obvious to say that the Collingswood game in a 5-1 deficit is totally not insurmountable. So anything's a possibility in baseball until the last pitch. That's going to be ball 4, and Tyler Wiltsey is going to trot down to third base. So he is in there uncontested, and this is going to put runners on the corners for Scott Lynch. So back-to-back walks. And this will bring up Joey Slavin, Scott Lynch. Joey Slavin is on first base. Tyler Wiltsey's on third base. first pitch to Scott Lynch with 2 runners on, and Talley's going to step off. Collingswood is a man warming. That one is away, 1-0. That will be number 21, Brady Search. He is usually the left fielder, so I guess they have somebody new out there. There's the ball. 2-0. If Talley can't fix his command, I would imagine that his time would be limited for the remainder of this ball game. He went into this inning with 57 pitches, and that number will only rise as the batters go on, and it's a line drive foul, 2-1. 2-1. Waiver and a miss, 2-2. Oh, here's a fly ball. Popped up on the infield, and it's caught by the shortstop Ify, and it's 2 down. So Lynch is retired, and this is going to bring up Ryan Zimmer. So here is Zimmer. 0 for 2 on a strikeout and a fielder's choice in this one. There's a strike, 0-1. There's a strike. And it's 0-2. Talley struggled a little bit to start the inning with back-to-back walks after a flyout, but now, with the pop out by Lynch, he's in a better-than-ever spot to get out of it. Infield shifted to the left, or rather the outfield shifted to the left. And he's going to pop this one up. Foul. Out of play. And that is headed for Walnut Street. Ground ball out to short. Ify is there. Throw to first on a sliding play, and it is in time. This almost feels like a Collingswood home game. Just Audubon has been stunned and silenced all day. We go to the 6th, 5-1 Panthers. Top of the sixth here from Hank Greenberg Field. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Pearlie's Printing and Bantel's Banners, Signs, and Apparel, the true one-stop shop for all your print and promotional needs with a 5-star Google rating. If you need graduation, lawn signs, and banners, A-frames, flyers, business cards, or envelopes done right, this is the place for you. Well, what has been undoubtedly a disappointing game for Audubon. Charlie Grady is the new pitcher for the Green Wave here in the sixth. Third hurler to throw for Audubon this afternoon. Ryan Zimmer got the start but gave up 3 runs, and then Scott Lynch ate some innings, and then he gave up 2 runs of his own, and that's where we stand at a 5-1 game. That's a looper in the left center field, a base hit. Jason Stocklin is the new left fielder for the Green Wave, and Panthers will have a runner on first after a base hit by Cole Ladick. His first hit of the afternoon and his 4th at bat. He originally had a ground out, a fly out, and a sac fly. Here's a ball, 1-0 to Waldron. In the dirt, 2-0. There's a strike. Looked like Waldron was going to have a bit of a premature swing, but he held back. Here's a ground ball over Dempsey into left center field. And his brother Bryce will pick it up. Going to third is going to be Ladick. Throw to second, not in time. And Noah Waldron with a double. That was a high chopper over the infield and got over the head of Bryce Dempsey. And runners are on second and third for Nate Ifey. A 4-run lead for Collingswood. That's a ball. There's a strike. That one's outside, 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2. I hope Audubon doesn't continue this momentum into Sunday's game versus Spotswood. Considering Spotswood is a larger school, it would be important for PowerPoint perspectives that you would have to, you know, at least have somewhat of a grasp on who you're playing. I mean, they're playing Collingswood right now, which is respectively a good team. They just got locked into the Diamond Classic, and they are a very respectable ball club at 6-2. But Audubon is not Collingswood. Collingswood was moved down to the lower division for a reason. They're a smaller school. Paulsboro got moved up for the same reason. They got very far. And it's, you know, over the course of the 3 years that you play and your record and everything like that. So there is a statistical reason why Collingswood got bumped down, and just Audubon does not have it today. But again, they have 6 outs to prove me wrong. It's 1-0 to Tim Search after the walk by Ifey. Grady is working very fast. He is probably frustrated with the fact that Audubon is struggling as mightily as they are. I mean, he is just right out of the stretch, working as fast as he can, and it's 1-2. 5:30 Eastern. Have ourselves a 5-1 ball game between the Green Wave and the Panthers, with Collingswood being in front by 4. One's upstairs. I think he's got to slow it down a little bit. It's 2-2. Charlie's ready to go. It's 3-2. I mean, like, that ball right there only took him 10 seconds to throw. from the point where he got it to the point where he threw it. And I'm timing it again on my stopwatch. That one only took 8.5 seconds, and that's ball 4. So he's working fast, but he's working too fast for his own good. And Collingswood just walked in a run. And it's 6-1. Wade Geis is going to have to talk to him. And, I mean, you have to. 5-run lead, 5-run deficit versus Collingswood. And I'm not trying to trash on Collingswood or anything. They're a very good team, but Audubon is not Collingswood. And they need to start playing better.
Yeah, Audubon's definitely better than this.
I mean, yeah. Audubon, last time they had a 6-run deficit was because it was one of the best Group 4 schools in the state. So, that I can understand. This, I can't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. Whether it's bad defense, just the pitching doesn't have it, or Collingswood's just been really good. But for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if Collingswood's offense is good, if there's a line drive in the center field, a base hit, Dempsey's going to throw this one in, and that's going to be a 2-run single for Cole Ladick, and it is now 8-1 Collingswood. And now Lance Furness is warming up in the bullpen for the Green Wave. Here is Miles DeVincentis. That's a fair ball. Right field corner. No, foul ball. Never mind. Foul ball. Take a breath. I mean, hey, Sterling beat Haddon Heights 9-2 early on in the season, and look what happened when they played Audubon. It was 20-1. So maybe this is just Audubon's bad day, and they'll let it go behind them. 0-1. Ooh. 1-1. Tight zone today here from the home plate umpire. 1-1. Oh, that is rocketed. Deep right. Beebe makes the outstretched catch. And he's got to get back. What in the world is he doing? The throw back to second base is not in time. How do you not get that play? Oh, my goodness. In a 7-run deficit, I cannot believe what I'm watching right now. I mean, this is some of the worst baseball I've watched in years. Search was clearly stranded off of second base, and it would have just taken a throw into the infield to... Yeah, runners are on first and second, by the way, with one away.
Yeah, that's a really big missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, they threw it to the third baseman. Like, they thought he tagged up, but he never even touched second base. And then they threw it back to second, but they threw it so slow that he was safe. I mean, this is painful baseball. Here's a ground ball out to Wiltsey, and he boots it. And he's safe at second base. Nobody tagged the bag. And the bases are loaded. I'm so far behind, I've missed the last 5 batters because Collingswood has just poured it on so easily and so quickly.
You mean behind on your scoring sheet?
Yeah, I'm behind on my scorecard because everything has fallen apart so quickly. There's a strike. Three runs have scored for Collingswood. Swing and a miss. 1-2. So with Schellenberger and the bases loaded, 3 runs have scored for Collingswood. A swing and a miss. So there's 2 down. I can't believe it took them that long to get the second out, but here's Brady's search. 9 men have come to the plate for Collingswood. 3 of them have scored, and it's 8-1. I mean, I hope that everybody on the green and gold side looks over the film this afternoon and tonight and takes a look going into the weekend what to do. Because this is, I understand maybe losing to Collingswood by 1 run because you make a couple slip-ups, but this is slip-up after slip-up like you're on Johnson & Johnson baby oil. It's bad.
I'm sure the coach will have them look at it and then learn from their mistakes.
Well, knowing Rich Horan, there may be a couple of yelling. A couple minutes straight of yelling at him.
Maybe a couple laps being run.
Yeah, and I'm glad I'm not a part of that. It's 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and there's a swing and a miss. Collingswood scores 3 runs, and we are going to go to a break and reconsider what we have just watched. I mean, this was bad baseball. We go to the bottom of the 6th, 8-1 Collingswood. Bottom of the 6th, and Charlie Grady, who just gave up 3 runs in the top half of the inning, will be the first one to bat in the bottom of the 6th. And here is Grady, first pitch. There's a ball upstairs. There's a strike. One. Here's a rocket. Right center field. Can of corn. Steven Sentis, 1 down. And here's Jack Dempsey. Nobody up in the bullpen for the Green Wave or for Collingswood, as Pat Talley, with a much larger cushion to go off of here, as it's 0-1 to Dempsey. One and one. Here's a fly ball, shallow center, Waldron. And going over to make the catch. Great communication out there in left by Justin Pilla to get out there and make the play. I mean, you could hear it all the way out here. Got it. That's what you want to hear, considering that Collingswood made that mistake that led to a run in the first. But So a fly out to right and a fly out to left have given us the first 2 outs of the 6th, and here is Bryce Dempsey. There's the ball. 1-0. And the ball just skipped away. They're going to pick it up, and Pill is telling them play clean. And that's what you need to do. I feel like that would be good advice for the green and gold as well, honestly. There's a strike. 1-1.
Let's go, Pat.
Upstairs, 2-1. Popped up, shallow, first base side, and that will go beyond the Collingswood dugout, and it is 2-2. Looks like one of the photographers is here, taking some shots.
We'll take our shot of him.
Yeah, there you go. Outside. Three balls, 2 strikes. Full count to Bryce Dempsey. Nick Caladros on deck for the Green Wave and an 8-1 Collingswood lead. Upstairs, ball 4. So here is Nick Caladros. So here's Nick Caladros. There's a strike. 0-2. Or 0-1 rather. There's a strike. 0-2. The fans out here called it before the umpire did behind home plate. Fly ball down the right field line and foul. Nice play by the fan. I don't think I got that on my camera, but no, he dropped it. Here we go. 0-2 with a runner on first for the Green Wave and another foul off the screen. Zach Beebe on deck. Although no, Gabe McCracken is in the on deck circle, so that would mean Beebe's not hitting. I guess kind of getting in a strategy to possibly make a comeback, but got to start somewhere. And that is not the place to start, but he got a piece of it, just a hair, and it's 1-2. 0-2, excuse me, still. Still making some contact. Tearing off a couple of hides on the baseball. Runner on first for Audubon. The 0-2 is a swing and a pop-up. Another one foul. That one's headed towards Hampshire Ave.
Let's go, Pat.
Collingswood hyping up their pitcher. Here we go. 0-2, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. That one skips away. And Schellenberger couldn't find it behind the plate, so Bryce Dempsey will move up to second base. It's 1-2. That is the ball. 2-2. And here's a ground ball, hot shot out to Ify, throw to first is in time. And Audubon leaves the runner on second, and any momentum that was going their way has been shot out of midair. We go to the 7th inning, 8-1 Collingswood. Paroli's printing pitching change here in the top of the 7th inning. In an 8-1 game, Lance Furness is the new pitcher, as Audubon's crowd definitely, some of them have their heads down, and while it's never over until it's over, the scoreboard is definitely telling me that the chances of Audubon winning this one are slim, but never none until the last pitch.
Can't win them all.
Can't win them all, no. Even the best team in South Jersey last year, St. Augustine, went 27-2, and one of those losses was a playoff game. So 0-1.
Where is St. Augustine?
Down in Richland, which is near the Vineland area.
Oh, okay. Because every time you say St. Augustine, I think Florida.
Yeah, no. I'd love to go back to St. Augustine, but
That was
the
beautiful
one in
down
Florida,
there.
yeah. 1-1. A fly ball foul. Collingswood had 9 men come to the plate in the top of the 6th. 3 of them scored, and the first batter will be Cole Ladick, who's batting for the 5th time this afternoon. Downstairs, 2-2. Yeah, sometimes you just have your off days, and really that's all it takes. St. Augustine will be playing Audubon on Thursday, the 27th. And then on Friday, the 28th, is the start of the busiest weekend in our baseball schedule, the Thank You Classic. Here's a ground ball in the center field, base hit for Cole Ladick. He's got 2 this afternoon. Single in the 6th and another one in the 7th. This will bring up Noah Waldron. Waldron doubled in the 6th. He's 2 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk, and a single in the 2nd inning. There's a strike, 0-1. That's a ball. 1-1. Again, tomorrow I'll be down in Summers Point covering some play-by-play for BFA Sports in the kickoff of the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic. It'll be Atlantic City and the Vikings versus the Bridgeton Bulldogs. It'll be a fun one between 2 young teams in South Jersey. There's a foul ball. Make sure for everything Coaches versus Cancer this weekend and BFA Sports, make sure you find them on the Game Changer app. I'll be on the play-by-play for Sunday's game versus Spotswood and the Chargers. And I'll be also working the production crew all day, or on the production crew all day. Yeah, from what I understand, St. Augustine Prep as an all-boys school is kind of like partner schools with Our Lady of Mercy or Olma, the Villagers, who are an all-girls school. So you have one all-boys school, one all-girls school in relatively the same area. Thursday will be the first time I cover St. Augustine as a school here on a broadcast. As ground ball out to Wiltsey, throw to second for one on the first, fired by Dempsey, and it is not in time and a fielder's choice. One away. This is going to bring up Ify. Ball one. Ify and then Tim Search up next for Collingswood. Swinging a ground ball, hot shot to Tyler, and it's booted. So Wiltsey with an error. That's going to put 2 on. Runners on first and second for Search. Breaking ball, a strike right down Broadway. 0-1. Furness will step off. There's a strike on the inside corner. 0-2. Curveball, swing and a miss, throw down to second base, and it is going to sail into center field, and a run is going to score. Dempsey boots it, and on a strikeout, which is usually a beneficial play in baseball, Collingswood gets another run. It's 9-1. Runner on third, being Ify, and after the Search strikeout, it's 9-1. Here is Cole Ladick. One 0 on a ball in the dirt. No. She's got something. She's got something. Foul ball, 1-1. One. Here's a swing and a fly ball out to right. BB is going to let it drop, and it's 10-1. That looked like a routine fly ball, but maybe it dropped a little short, and Collingswood has put double digits up on the green wave. It's now a 9-run lead. Runners on first, and no, just first, and after the RBI single by Cole Ladick. I don't know. Last year, Audubon almost blew a 12-run lead, and you never know. Things could happen. There's the ball. 2-0. No arms up in the Green Wave bullpen.
I don't know if we have any arms left.
I don't know if you need any arms at this point with 2 outs. A pop-up foul. Or actually, no, that may stay in play, but no. 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike. Right down Broadway, 2-2. There's a looper. Center field base hit. So Miles DeVincentis with a base hit.
I think we get this 2 outs and we can't get the third.
Yeah. The third out is always the hardest one to get. But runners are on first and second for Collingswood. Wade Geis isn't even moving from the dugout, which I don't blame him. This is a disaster this afternoon.
Just waiting for it to be over.
Yeah, sure we all are. There's another one, base hit, center field. Dempsey is there. Here comes the throw to the plate. And it's going to be cut off. He's safe at second. I don't know why they cut it off at second, but it's now a 10-run lead. 11-1. We don't have any more. And it'll be caught by Tyler Wiltsey on the pop-up. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 11-1, Collingswood. Bottom of the 7th, and the scoreboard says 1,000 words while at the same time saying none. That's ball 1. To Zach Beebe. Although rather that is Gabe McCracken at the dish. It's 2-0. Now, one thing that you notice, Audubon's dugout is still vocal. They are still supporting their batter even down by 10 runs, and that I can respect. Because no matter what the score is, individually, it's important that you support your teammates no matter how the team has done overall in the game. There's a foul ball.
Go, Pat!
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's upstairs, 3-2. Collingswood's outfield joking a little bit about that one. I mean, it was a close call, but they're up by 10 runs, so it doesn't really matter. That is ball 4. So a walk to McCracken. This will bring up Tyler Wiltsey. Just one of those games. And here is Wiltsey. McCracken on first, and I think that Brad Klein will come out here and take Pat Talley out from the game, but an incredible performance by the senior, shutting down a team that going into it looked like Collingswood didn't have a chance, but guess what? They have taken South Jersey by storm in this one in an 11-1 game. So Talley will come out after 6 1/3 innings, holding Audubon to just 1 run with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strikeouts this afternoon. We'll have a Parole's printing pitching change with Justin Pilla, or rather, no, that is Brady Search out there. We'll be right back after this.
You gotta call for somebody's
All right, bring me back. Bottom of the 7th, Parole's printing pitching change here in an 11-1 game in the favor of the Collingswood Panthers. Brady Search is the new pitcher after 6 1/3 spectacular innings by Pat Talley. This has been one heck of a ball game for the visitors and one heck of a ball game in an ironic fashion for the home team.
Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Today we are the bug.
On the highway.
Yes. In Florida.
Yes. You think the New Jersey speed limit is bad? The Florida speed limit is twice as bad.
No, have you ever seen the bugs down in Florida though?
Oh, I was talking about how bad Florida drivers are.
No.
We were talking about 2 completely different
Yeah,
things.
we've driven down through Florida and the bugs are like mutants.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Same thing when you're like walking through Disney World, but it's 0-1 to Tyler Wiltsey. Yeah, if the New Jersey speed limit is 10 over, the Florida speed limit's about 20 over. 1-1 to Tyler. Fly ball, foul. Oh, wait, maybe. No. That just hit the bus.
Yeah, about 25 years ago, I drove down to Florida with my parents in a white car, and when we stopped and looked, it looked black in the front from being that were just crushed.
Did you drive from Jersey to Florida?
Yeah.
Okay.
We drove all the way down.
So yeah, once you got there, that must have been bad.
Yeah.
It's in the dirt, 2-2.
They grow them big down in Florida.
I mean, have you ever seen the Australian spiders? Those are
no, I don't
huge.
want to see those.
Yeah, she's an arachnophobe.
No, thank you.
Well, Australia's also got the bullfrog problem. There's a line drive to right. They even sent, Talley's not going to get there, and he's going to play juggle with the baseball. It's going to be an RBI, no, excuse me, just a double for Tyler Wiltsey. So the runner's on second base for Joey Slavin. So Pat Talley had a little bit of trouble out there, but was able to make it stick. Runner's on second base. Excuse me, Gabe McCracken is on third. My apologies. I forgot he got on base, to be honest with you.
Thank you. I was confused. I'm like, I have a runner here.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? In our defense, we haven't been used to having runners on the bases for us for a couple innings.
Yeah.
That happens.
Mm-hmm. 0-1 to Joey.
Nobody out. Could be rally time.
Could very well be if Joey can get a hold of one. That one's down low. Breaking ball by Search. There's a strike. 1-2. Yeah, the rumor is about the Australian bullfrogs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they had a really bad insect problem. So they brought in these bullfrogs from Europe to try to take care of it, and it was just a couple hundred of them.
Right.
And then they bred and they bred, and they had generations and generations, and then they got out of control. So now it's just a regular part of their ecosystem.
Yeah, if they don't have a natural predator, that's what happens.
They had a prime minister that drowned once too. Prime Minister Holt.
I didn't know that.
Back Christmas Day, 1965, he went out to sea and never came back. There are rumors that, conspiracy theories, that he was a Chinese spy or Soviet Union spy. As there's a swing and a miss, Slavin's got a run. Throw to first. It's in time, one away. So bring up Scott Lynch. But yeah, the common consensus about the Prime Minister was that he was just a really bad swimmer. That was just the common thought, is that he was just a really bad swimmer and got lost at sea and probably got taken out by the rip current or something. But we don't know a whole lot about Australia, you know?
Surrounded by water.
Yes. And this is what you get when you're down by 10 runs on a Dan Wilkins Broadcasting live stream. We're talking about Australian prime ministers. Here's the first pitch. There's the ball. I mean, yes, it's relevant to stay, to keep the fans a little bit entertained. But Audubon does have two runners on base with one away. Joey Slavin struck out on the throw down to first base. That was the first on the afternoon for Brady Search. And the 1-0 is in the dirt. Bit of a cricket pitch there, and it's 2-0. Cricket's also popular in Australia.
Yeah.
I thought that cricket and baseball would be a very similar sport. I would have thought that cricket, when I was first looking into it, was like the European version of baseball.
That's what I thought too.
But then I watched a game and I was like, I can't understand it.
I don't understand it either.
There's people in the field who aren't wearing helmets, who should be wearing helmets, and then there's people who are wearing helmets that don't need to be wearing helmets.
All I know is the funny videos I've seen where the ball misses at the, whatever it's called, the plate.
The wicket?
The wicket.
Yes.
And hits people in funny spots. That's
yes.
the only thing I know about cricket.
That's the only thing I know, yeah. That is upstairs, and it's going to be ball 4 to Scott Lynch. There is no more room at the inn. Bases are loaded. I do like that catchphrase that I've come up with this year. No more room at the inn. I
do like it too.
Maybe we need to send a business flyer to the local Howard Johnson or to Super 8 on Black Horse Pike. Get $100 and
no more
boom.
Room at the inn.
There you go. Sponsored by Super 8 and the Red Roof Inn.
I don't think anybody wants to stay there.
Well, now you just drove them away.
Yep. We're not leaving that light on.
Oh. 1-0. feel like we're Waldorf and Stadler a little bit just talking over here.
I'm old enough to be one.
Oh boy. For the more casual Muppet fans, Waldorf and Stadler are the two old men that stand in like the balcony of
They're
the
like
auditorium.
stapled to their seat or something.
Yeah, something like that. But it's 1-1 to Ryan Zimmer. Strike two. One ball, two strikes. Bases loaded for Ryan Zimmer, looking to salvage some RBIs. And a ground ball off the glove of Search, out to second base. Throw to first is in time, but McCracken will score. It is now 11-2. So at least some silver lining out of that, and that will bring up Charlie Grady. Last chance for the Green Wave with two down on the 4-3. Runners are on second and third. Scott Lynch on second. Tyler Wiltsey on third. First pitch is a ball. If this inning were to continue, Jack Dempsey would be next. Don't forget, tomorrow I have been honored to work with the great folks at BFA Sports to cover the Coaches vs. Cancer tournament in Mainland. We'll be in Summers Point on Friday at 4 o'clock for the Atlantic City Vikings and the Bridgeton Bulldogs. I was also told that I will be on the play-by-play for Audubon and Spotswood at 2 o'clock on Sunday in Mainland, and I will be working with the production crew in their truck all day Sunday. Big thanks to Doug Stasic and everybody at the BFA Sports crew for giving me that opportunity. Also on Saturday, we'll be at Alcyon Park in Pittman for the annual Joe Lang Classic. At 11:30, it will be Gateway and Pittman at 11:30, and then at 1:30 will be the championship game between the winner of that and Glassboro and Gloucester. Should be two strikes to Charlie Grady, 2-2. Runners on second and third. Audubon down by 9 here versus the Collingswood Panthers. And there is a strike call. Excuse me, that will be the second strike. See, I was talking too much about my future plans. There we go.
There we go.
But in this kind of score, it's hard to not get off track. But it is what it is. Audubon gets the rebound on Sunday. But we're not done yet. And I believe the count will be full now, and it is. Again, Dempsey waiting on deck if Grady gets on base. And with two runners in scoring position, poke one through the right side and get two more home. Get a couple RBIs for yourself. And that will be a walk. So we are not done yet. Here's Jack Dempsey. Again, bases loaded. The infield will meet with Brady Search. So first base, which was previously unoccupied, now occupied. Somebody on the marching band is doing their best Phil Collins impression. Really good bass drum there. There's a strike. Well, at least if Audubon isn't going to win today, I would love some good music, so that's a nice touch. 0-1, Brady Search to Jack Dempsey. And there's a pop-up. Out towards second base. Under it is Ladek, and he makes the catch. Collingswood with a huge win this afternoon over the Audubon Green Wave. A 9-run lead as Collingswood broke it open late and closed the door in the 7th. Brady Search gets the final 3 outs for the Green Wave, or for the Panthers. And even though Audubon salvages a run in the bottom half, it is still not enough to overcome such a large deficit. Folks, the final score today, Collingswood 11 and Audubon 2. No celebration music today. I'm sure that the only celebrating will be happening on the visiting bus ride home. But folks, from everybody here at Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, don't forget tomorrow we'll be in Summers Point in association with BFA Sports for coverage of the Atlantic City Vikings and the Bridgeton Bulldogs. You can watch that on the Game Changer app at 4 p.m. And on Saturday, it'll be the Joe Lang Classic with Gateway and Pittman at 11:30 and Glassboro and Gloucester at the JV field. And then we're going to have the championship game at 1:30. Collingswood celebrating down the right field line, and we're going to call it a day as the marching band's going to get their practice going. From everybody here at DWB, the graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, the producer, Donna Wilkins, and myself, Dan Wilkins. 11-2, Collingswood beats Audubon. We'll see you tomorrow in Summers Point.